Welcome back, everyone. This is the Golden Era Bookworm, still on 1946 January, Your Physique. And as I said, I found this particular magazine full of really good information, so I'm making many videos. And right now I'm up to page 20 of this particular magazine, and I stumbled on the Weider stick lift, which if you look on the net, it's still controversial as to how to correctly perform it. So I'd like to address that here, because this is the original article featuring the Weider stick lift. Here is a novel way in strengthening the wrists and forearms, as well as one of the best ways in testing the strength. You are told how to make the Weider stick and the rules in performing this lift. You will really be surprised to learn from this article the disproportionate strength of many lifters, as well as your own. So here we go. In his rating, lifts for merit, David Willoughby has listed the records of John Grimmett and Paul von Boeckmann in the Weider stick lift. The world record in the harness lift is about 4,000 pounds. The world's record in the Weider stick lift is only 10 pounds. A slight difference. But what in thunder is the Weider stick, you ask? As a matter of fact, the name was applied to it by Sigmund Klein because of my efforts to popularize this test of forearm strength. It all began many years ago when strongmen used to test their strength of wrist by lifting a broom horizontally from the floor by grasping the end of the handle, with a light weight placed on the straw of the broom. The ability to lift a 5-pound brick in this way denotes unusual wrist strength. It occurred to the late Paul von Boeckmann to make this test more accurate by suspending the weight from an exact point on the stick and measuring an exact distance from that point to the front of the hand, as shown here in this image. The distance he decided on was 3 feet or 36 inches. In this manner he finally succeeded in lifting a weight of 10¼ pounds. Being curious as to how this compared with the ability of leading modern lifters, I made several sticks and tested some 40 lifters and athletes. The results were extremely interesting, but before I reveal them, I must tell you how to make a Weider stick and how to lift with it. Obtain a mop handle, about 1 inch in diameter, and saw it to a length of 42 inches. Half an inch from one end, cut a notch. Exactly 36 inches from the center of this notch. Circle the stick with a line. So that must be the notch. I suggest you cut a knife line, which you can then ink with a pen. Get 2 metal right angles at a hardware store and screw them into the top and bottom of the sides of the stick so that the rear edges of the right angles come exactly to the inked knife line. The top side of the stick is where the notch is cut. If one angle has 1 screw hole and the other angle has 2 screw holes, the screws will not conflict. You can shave the top and bottom of the stick a little with a knife at these places to make a flatter base for the angle. This leaves a handle just 5½ inches long, which you can tape to a thickness that suits your hand and affords a good grip. A reference to the photos should make the above details clear. Well, to a certain degree. The 2 photos showing John Gallagher using the sticks demonstrate the proper method of lifting. The weight is hung by a cord from the notch. The stick is placed on a chair in the manner shown in figure 1, and the handle is grasped with the front of the hand against the metal guards, which prevent the hand from going over the 36-inch line and thus cheating. Then the stick is lifted free off the chair as shown in figure 2. So you can see he's not bending it, he's just lifting it, I think. Or maybe with the power of the wrist, I'm not sure. Must be with the power of the wrist, because that's the whole point. It is important that the following rules be observed. The stick must be lifted approximately parallel to the floor and not with the weighted end tilted downward. Above all, the stick must be lifted straight up from the chair. There must be no rocking of the stick on the chair before lifting. The lifting hand and arm must remain free of the body, and the heel of the hand must remain on top of the stick. If the hand twists around under the stick, the lift is no good and cannot be allowed. The stick, when lifted, need not be held for any length of time, but it must be clearly lifted free of the chair. An inch is enough, and held in control 1 second is enough. This lift may also be made by turning the back on the weight and grasping the stick with the little finger toward the weight, that way. More weight can be lifted in this manner. When lifting with the back toward the weight, the body may be bent forward as the lift is made. The forward lift tests the strength of the forearm muscles that abduct the wrist. My tests with the stick reveal how disproportionate is the strength of many lifters. Thus, John Protassel was extremely strong in the backward lift, which tests the strength of the forearm muscles that adduct the wrist, but he was mediocre in the forward lift. Sigmund Klein was considerably stronger in the backward lift than in the forward lift. On the other hand, Paul van Berkman himself was much stronger in the forward lift. And now he goes on to list a whole bunch of people that have tried this. The most extraordinary ability I discovered amongst those I tested was that of John Grimmick. Upon first being shown the stick, he succeeded in lifting 9 3/8 pounds in the forward lift, right hand. I planned for him to attempt the world's record after a few weeks of practice at Klein's gymnasium, but when the time came, an injury prevented any serious right-handed lifting. However, lifting with his left hand, he made a wonderful record of exactly 10 pounds. Meanwhile, John Protassel had made a record of 12.5 pounds with the backward lift, right hand. I must say, Sigmund Klein had several Weaver sticks made and obtained a special set of weights ready for visiting strongmen who wished to try this test at a gymnasium. So again, he goes on to now describe Willoughby's estimates in this lift in relation to the 2 hands clean and jerk, and rates the lifters. It's a very interesting article, and I hope I've helped clear some issues in regards to it. That's the Weaver stick lift. Hope you enjoyed it. It's a long video, but I think it's worth it. Yeah, I'm going to continue now with the rest of the magazine, but this will be its own video because I think it's quite a historical article and it deserves its own video. Thank you very much.